A zombie fungus will eat our brains, or at least that's what the TikTok would have us believe. Every so often, social media picks up on the topic of a fungus that seems like an answer to the prayers for a zombie apocalypse. This time it's because of a guy who decided to grow a Cordyceps mushroom on his skin and blood. In vitro, not in vivo, so thankfully I linked to the whole TikTok in the description, but here's a taste.
This is Cordyceps, the zombie fungus, and I grew it off of my own blood and skin.
Lovely. Put that on top of an already existing conspiracy fueled by The Last of Us video game and its delightful Netflix adaptation. And you will end up with a whole slew of people running around and quoting Dr. Ian Malcolm.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
If you've never heard about the Cordyceps mushroom, you are in for a treat. If you did, you are too, but after the introductory half of a minute, okay? Cordyceps are a genus of parasitic fungi with more than 600 species. It's been used in the Chinese medicine for over 1500 years. And you will find plenty of supplements on the market right now that include Cordyceps in it. There's some research confirming that Cordyceps is anti-inflammatory, it has the potential to help with heart issues and even some cancers, especially in vitro. There's some data about that. But this is obviously not why people are talking about it. Most Cordyceps species infect insects and other arthropods, some of them infect fungus, and they turn them into zombies. Well, zombies. Let's consider the most commonly known example of Cordyceps unilateralis, also known as zombie ant fungus. It looks disgusting. A spore gets eaten by an ant and then grows inside its body, taking over the nervous system. The infected ant becomes particularly interested in climbing, and once it arrives at a beautiful spot up the branch, it latches onto a leaf and dies. The fungus grows a beautiful little mushroom out of the ant's brain, and the spores, well, they get spread all over the beautiful jungle that they grew out of, which then gets eaten by another ant, and the creepy circle of life continues. Now, how does that compare to The Last of Us zombies? Not at all beyond the aesthetics, I suppose. But hey, if a video game made Cordyceps zombies into statues that simply spread the spores on the wind, there wouldn't be much of a gameplay, would there? Just imagine a sandbox, Skyrim-like game in which you just exchange filters in your respiratory protection as you walk down the road and trying to ignore those mummified human remains perched upon the streetlights. So, what does the guy growing Cordyceps on his blood and skin have to do with it? Really not much. He grew the mushrooms on rice, which is actually the normal way of growing Cordyceps. Especially Cordyceps militaris, which is the mushroom that you will find in those health supplements I mentioned. Adding blood and skin doesn't really change much, but it clearly makes for viral content. It has literally nothing to do with Cordyceps infecting a living human. You see, there are a couple of things that inhibit fungal infections in humans. One, we are warm-blooded. Most fungal species cannot survive in such high temperatures. Some people suggest that the warming climate will make fungi more resistant to heat and they could potentially evolve to survive in the 36.6 degrees centigrade. If this is what makes people care about the climate change and push against fossil fuels, I'm ready to support that wholeheartedly. At the moment, however, the warming up seems to be working against Cordyceps, Cordyceps sinensis, which propagates at temperatures around 21 degrees. It's already negatively affected by the rise in global temperatures. 2. Our immune system is in constant battle with fungal infections. True, there are some that manage to take hold, about 200 to 300 species out of millions, but there are even more that don't. On average, we inhale somewhere between 1,000 and 10 billion spores every single day. As long as your immune system is intact, you'll be fine. If it isn't, like mine, best of luck to us. 3. Our nervous system is way more complex than that one of the insect. It would take forever for a fungus that evolved to take over a simple nervous system to upgrade itself to taking over a nervous system as complex as human. Evolution takes time. As a side note, I really don't know why would anyone get scared about a fungal zombie apocalypse when rabies already exist. But this is proper scary, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Now, there are a couple of theories that explain the phenomenon of host jumping, a phenomenon of a parasite switching or expanding the range of potential hosts. First, the host relatedness hypothesis suggests that a new host will provide the parasite with a very similar environment as the original. This one clearly cannot work here because we're not insects, we're warm-blooded, we have robust immune system, all the matter that I mentioned. That leaves us with a second option, the host habitat hypothesis, which suggests that host shifts tend to follow the host's microhabitat or feeding habitat lines. So the likelihood of host jumping increases when both hosts are in the same habitat. This actually has some substance here because not long ago there was a case of a 61-year-old mycologist who got infected with a plant fungus after a prolonged time of working among infected and rotting plants. The mycologist was not immunocompromised, and so it's theorized that it's the prolonged exposure that led to the infection. COVID infections also led to an increased number of cases of black fungus infections, a particularly nasty and deadly flesh-eating fungus. I will leave you with this. If you want to limit the probability of fungal zombie apocalypse, there is a very easy way out. Get the hell out of their natural habitat. Stop cutting down jungles, stop destroying rainforest habitats, and stop pretending that wearing a mask is going to make it harder for you to breathe. Stay safe in the spooky season. A huge thank you to all of you who joined our Patreon, especially our champions. Your continued support helps us immensely with our books and the channel. Thank you.